And go ahead and introduce yourselves, please.
I'm Derrick. Case this is my wife.
Danielle, Case.
She and I both founded Dress Up. Danielle actually came up with the idea when we were out shopping one day, and the idea was 100% from a need, not necessarily a passion or a dream that she's ever had. It was 100% because there was a need in our community for a store like ours. So,
Now, when you say a need, what was the need that you identified?
We were based around a college. We were from a small college town, and there was no local college age type store for the students to shop in and to find things.
yeah, I mean, we're in Dahlonega where our first store is. It's a huge tourist town with a college. North Georgia College at the time had about 4,000 students, and there was nothing that strictly focused on the college students. Most everybody else in the town thought of the college as a pain in their neck instead of seeing it as an opportunity for business. So we kind of took that and ran with it.
So it was something that, were you college students at the time, or you were?
We both went.
We were not at the time we
yeah.
founded it, but we both went there, yes.
Okay. And did you have retail experience? Tell us a little bit about your background, and besides the college angle, what kind of experiences did you have?
The only retail experience I had was a lifetime shopper. I come from a family of
Okay.
women, so I have two younger sisters and my mom, and so I shopped all my life and everything, read magazines, that kind of thing. But as far as background, I manage a salon, and so I'm from a family of hairdressers. So that's mine. Derrick had a little bit of retail experience for a few moments, but other than that, just more of a management background.
Right, I was in corporate sales before and was still in sales for the first year of our business, so, but nothing true retail based other than a few odd and end jobs here and there.
So you see the need, and you both have, you have the different retail experience, the management experience from a retail environment in the salons, and you had sales experience, so you're obviously comfortable. And then you were what I would call sort of a power user or an expert consumer because of your vast shopping experience throughout your life. So you jump in. How did you get the first place going? Did you just sell everything you have? Did you get money from your parents? Did you,
In short, really just through contacts and networking. I'd been partners on a gym in Dahlonega that I was fortunate to become a part of. When I was only 20 years old, I got to be a part of being a partner of the gym, and I met a bunch of great people. And one of the gentlemen that I knew owned the building that we started our first store in and gave us an opportunity to go in financing-wise. We literally went out on a limb, took all of our cash savings we had saved up for a house we were literally building. We were living in her parents' camper while we were building our house, and we took our cash, maxed out 3 or 4 credit cards, and away we went. We still to this day struggle getting banks to give us any money, so we just have always, our parents didn't have any money. We didn't ask anybody for anything. We just did it ourselves.
At what point did you break even, I guess would be a question. I mean, you have 4 or 5 credit cards maxed out. You're living in a camper. You're kind of off and running.
Well, we both kept our full-time jobs.
Okay.
And I still have my full-time
Okay.
job. I'm still a hairdresser.
Yeah, we didn't take a dime from the store for about 14 months until I quit.
Okay.
Until I quit my corporate job, and that was the first time I ever drew a check per se from the store after 14 months.
You finally felt comfortable enough, and you'd sort of had 1 full year, so you could sort of see the sales cycle a little bit,
Right.
that kind of stuff. Now, okay, so this is 2008, 2009 when you got started?
2008.
So,
So, basically the economy's
no,
tanked.
2009.
Nobody's spending a nickel. People are still being very conservative, and yet you're crazy enough to do this. And now, if I understand correctly, we're just a couple years later, and you're up to 5 stores? What are you, nuts?
Yeah.
Yeah, Danielle thinks that I am. I mean, I quit. When I quit my job, that's the nature of myself. I'm the most competitive person that I know. When I quit, I said if I was going to quit the job I was doing, then I was going to go full speed ahead in my next adventure. And within the first, spent about 4 months solid trying to tweak what we were doing in our one little bitty store, and we opened this Gainesville store next. I always say that was our second step in business, and we haven't took our third yet. Opening the second store was very difficult, and every store after that's been easy because you're just replicating it. But to an extent, it's easy. But that was the most difficult step, was to go to the second location, and then after that, it's just doing the same thing.
Well, what's the key? I mean, it would seem to me that your first store, you have almost complete control, or at least you can if you choose to, because you can be there 24/7 if you want to. Move out of the camper, sleep in the back of the store. I mean, you know, you can do that. But the second store would seem that it starts to divide your attention and your abilities. So what's been the key?
Probably the main thing is their staff. We've been very blessed and fortunate to have good girls and people that we trust and things like that.
And not even just blessed and fortunate. I have literally in the last 12 months interviewed a minimum of 120 people, all from part-time help working. I'm in on every single interview to make sure that it's the right people. I'm currently training up management that's supposed to step up and be in a higher level of management, and they're going to be still. I'm instilling what I want in people, and it's 100% people based. I mean,
What are the core values? If you had to identify 3 or 4 things that you look for in an employee, what are they?
Honestly, for us, the first thing is do they have their personal life straightened out? Are they a good person? Do they have, for us, do they share the same faith beliefs that we do? Is one of the biggest things, because that's where your foundation is your personal life straight. We don't hire Looney Tunes that come in off the street. After that, you know, it's good for them to have some retail experience, but that doesn't matter to us really. As long as they're a good, solid person, they look the part, then we can mold them into whatever we want them to. Are they moldable, I guess, more than anything?
Right. They have a personality. You know, they're comfortable talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, the few people that haven't worked for us are just people that
Are socially awkward.
yeah, they're socially awkward. You know, everybody else we've been able to train on to what we want them to be.
So it's worked pretty well. How many employees do you have?
I haven't got a definite count lately, but I think we're
It's
up to
been
about
changing.
32 or 33.
Full time, or is it a mix of full and
No,
part
there's
time?
only like 5
5 full
or
time.
6 technically full time. Every
Okay.
manager, every store has its own manager, and there's 1 or 2 girls that are work full time hours, but they're not necessarily full time.
All right. So one of the big questions I'm always interested in is what makes you guys successful? I mean, it sounds like you put a lot into the hiring process and training and kind of coaching, mentoring, but you know, again, as a father of 2 teenage daughters, I know they have a lot of options, but why would they go to your place and why would they keep going back?
I always say it's an experience, you know, and what I'm going to be speaking on later, I'm going to speak about how we try to create an experience when we create. It's not about the product is the last thing that people talk about when they talk about our store. They talk about everything else that goes into it. We've created an environment in which you feel just like you're going into a place where you're going to. I always say it's like you add a zero on our price point. If something's $30, it's like it's $300 in our store, but it's not. And my wife buys all the clothing, and I call it like an all-star lineup of clothing. I mean, it's like you can go into a store very similar to ours, and they only have like a few racks of stuff that people really, really want. Most people come in our store and they try on 20 or 30 things, and they can barely struggle for them to only get 4 or 5. So
And the environment, the store, the music, the decor, you know, everything from the wooden hangers to the custom bags to, you know, we don't skip on anything. Our marketing, everything we do it as best that we could.
It sounds like exceptional value. I mean,
Right.
I know where your store is up here, but I've never been in your store, nor is there probably a good reason other than be the wallet behind the
exactly.
purchases. But it sounds like value. I mean, I've heard
Right.
your prices, your products are great,
Right.
and your prices are incredible.
Right, and we stick to that. We stick to our model. I've watched a lot of stores start off at a certain point, but then they'll pop in like a $98 shirt and, you know, go back down. Whereas we are consistent with our pricing. We never.
I always say we don't run our brand into the ground. We do sales, you know, seasonally when big chains do it. I always say the most successful retail store in the world is Walmart, and they don't have sales. It's everyday low prices is what they're known for, and we try to be the same as that. We don't do anything to dilute our brand. We've built a brand and we stand behind it, and I mean, to me, that's what's built us up. So.
Well, and certainly, you know, working in a women's college with the 2 teenage daughters, I mean, dress up feels like it's been around for a lot longer than it actually has.
Right.
What are your plans for the future? I mean, you've expanded very quickly. Do you see an end in sight in that, or are you pretty much open to going where the opportunity takes you?
She would like to think there would be a closer end in sight, but I don't have any. No, I don't. I plan on opening several stores a year indefinitely until it gets to a point to where it loses the value, which I hope we never do. That to me, it's going to grow at the pace in which I can continue to get management to stay
Okay.
focused on what I want them to stay focused on.
Yeah.
Like right now, we're not as focused on opening our 6th store as I am focusing on all my management team and getting them where I want them before we go to the next step. So growing to the point to where we can keep our brand without sacrificing that. You know, we want to create something like a Nordstrom's. Nordstrom's only has 90 stores. I would think they have hundreds, but
Yep.
they're known for what they do.
Yep. And it is exceptional. I bought a pair of shoes there a few years ago. First time I went in, I took the shoes home. They didn't fit the way I liked them after I wore them a little bit. Sent them back, no questions asked.
Right.
I mean, not that I've bought from them since, but honestly, I have such a positive impression of them that
Yeah, you don't have anything negative to say.
not at all.
And
Can't
that's-
say it.
That's how we want it to grow. I don't want to sacrifice my growth plans. Don't exceed the branding plans for our store more. It wants it to be something I can always be proud of.
Yeah,
Never have to be ashamed of anything that we're doing.
Right.
that's great. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.